It is such a pleasure to have you here with me. So nice to see you. Thank you so much for taking taking the time to be part of this show, to listen to what it is that we can basically explore with regards to mindfulness and growing and just living a more peaceful life. Uh, I truly appreciate you guys. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. I'm just testing this audio. And yeah, so thank you. Uh, G'day to you all. Nice to see you, Cheryl, Suzanne. Hello, my friends. G'day, Catherine. G'day, TM. Hey, Fatima. Hello, Charity. Nice to see you all. Thank you very much. Honestly, I appreciate you guys being here. This is a topic that is very important and it is a very overlooked topic, especially in today's world. We don't really think about this. It is the art of letting go. Hello, Stephanie. Hey, Kathy. Bonjour, Natalie. Um, hey, Dahlia. Beautiful. Got quite a decent turnout. The art of letting go, which is a philosophical concept and an idea and topic that has been floating around for thousands of years. You know, it dates back to the Buddhists, the Zen Buddhists, the Taoists, the Confucianists, the Stoicists, and a lot of philosophies, religions have embraced the art of letting go, and it's something that seems to have been lost over time. So, and before I let go of the heat from my matcha, I'll just have a quick little sip. But it is something that has also resurfaced recently, and a lot of people have started talking about it. Some books have been released. Yes, yes. So Suzanne is saying in the comments, you have shaved your beard. Yes, I have, Suzanne and TM. I have shaved my beard. I just thought I'd give my skin a little bit of a breather. I like to mix things up a little. I know that this is my beard is a topic of controversy. Some people prefer the beard, others prefer the shaved look. I like to mix it up. And Gregory's saying, "You're looking good, Alex. I'm expecting to need to listen to this subject with both my ears open." Thanks, Gregory. Yes, that will definitely help, my friend. Okay. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, you're welcome to share this video with your friends. Please like this video as well. And also, thank you. I love you guys. Thank you so much. So let's begin. So Fatima says, when I think of this concept, I do not use the Portuguese words. I use English. Let go of. Yeah. Well, I mean, there is, no more accurate way for me to understand it than let go of or let it go or letting go. And I don't quite know how you interpret it in other countries, but yeah, that's good. So I'm going to begin this. I want to begin this segment, this session, with a poem that I found by thank you, by a Nigerian poet by the name of Oluwaseyi Olo. I apologize if I mispronounced his name. It is a very difficult subject, letting go, but listen to this poem. To bid farewell, a bittersweet release, like a bird from its cage, taking flight with ease. The heart may ache, the mind may mourn, but letting go is the art of being reborn. And that is very true, because in society we constantly emphasize letting go and change and moving on and transitioning and transforming as a negative thing, as the end of something. And truth is, in a way it is, but it's also the beginning of a whole new chapter. It is the beginning of a whole new journey. It is an exciting new path that you can be taking that can change your life. And if you think about it, you think of all the times in your life that you look back at with pride or with happiness or with joy or with this sense of accomplishment. They've all involved change. Every moment in your life that you look back at and you think this is a positive memory involved or had to involve change, right? Because if we don't change, if we don't let go of old and embrace new, then we can't grow. And I'm going to include a few quotes that as I've researched this topic, I found a few quotes that I really like. But again, as I was saying to you before, the art, the philosophy of letting go is not new to Confucius, Buddhist, Taoist cultures. It is something that has been a very big part of their philosophies for thousands of years. And Buddha himself said, pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. We're all going to experience pain at some point. When we transition, we all experience some, but we choose whether to suffer from this choice. We choose whether this is something that we will, perceive in a negative way. So let's begin with the first thing that you need to realize. We're going to go through a few things, okay? Because I want you to understand a little better about how you can let go of circumstances, of challenges, and of events that may hold you back, right? Remember, letting go is the only option if you want to progress in life, okay? There's no other option. There's an old Zen Buddhist teaching that said, letting go is hard, but holding on is harder. So it's very important to, understand that, okay? So the first thing you need to realize that this whole world is out of your control. You cannot control what happens in this world. It is out of your control. It's the first thing you need to realize, which means that if I know it's mind-blowing, isn't it? But we tend to hold on to things. We tend to hold on to and Fatima just said Siddhartha, who was the Buddha, used to say attachment causes pain, 100%. And that was actually what I was going to bring up next, that this obsession with attaching to things, not necessarily material objects, but ideas or ideologies, people, circumstances. As humans, we attach to things. We attach ourselves to things. And why do we do that? We do that because it gives us this ostensible sense of security, right? Well, it does, but it doesn't at the same time. So when you attach to things, you become very dependent on them, and it eventually does lead to suffering. So the first thing you need to do is maybe just take a step back and understand that if you are going to attach the thing, or if you are going to embrace things into your life, it does come with a caveat, because you don't know where the life may go, right? These things may just disappear from your life, and you need to be prepared for that. So attachment is, again, as Buddha said, the cause for suffering. Now, letting go, as I was saying before, means embracing change, okay? And that goes back to Taoism. Taoism, however you want to pronounce it, believes that everything in life involves opposites. Everything in life is a constant movement between opposites, right? High and low, dark and night, happy, sad, yin, yang, right? Everything is, and there's not much we can do about it. It's a law of the universe. It's an inevitable part of nature. It's an inevitable part of our reality. And I guess the most simple thing to do that we can do is just embrace that and just let go. We tend to, and this is another Taoist philosophy, is that we tend to be too much obsessed with being in control with our possessions, with the things in our lives. But we need to also trust the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe, which means that everything inevitably changes. Whenever there is good, bad is around the corner. Whenever there is bad, good is around the corner. It is the law of polarity, right? Things always fluctuate, and we need to always be prepared for that and understand that it is out of our hands. Another thing that holds us back from letting go is focusing too much on outcomes. And I'm going to get to eventually how we can teach ourselves to let go. And there are so many things that we can cover. I can go on for ages, but we don't have that much time. But letting go of outcomes, not focusing on outcomes, not worrying too much about being rigid and achieving a certain thing, okay? Because, well, again, when you worry about outcomes, when you worry about achieving a specific thing, you create a very rigid mindset, and it just means that no other outcome will do. And as we were saying before, life is all about change. So it's important for you to also be flexible with your goals, flexible with how you see the world, right? Life changes, our pathways change, our philosophies, our ideologies, our views on life, our friendships, everything changes. Oops, sorry, I just realized that you can probably hear it better now. The thing wasn't connected properly. Everything changes. But focusing too much on the outcome, focusing too much on the future distracts us from being in the present. It makes us anxious. It makes us lose a sense of who we are and of how we can exercise our strengths to achieve something. So, and ultimately, it makes it harder for us to let go. Obsessing over the outcome, obsessing over the future. You've all heard of the saying, enjoy the destination. And that's true. You have to really enjoy the process. I'll get to your comments in a second. And again, the more we crave a certain outcome, the more we rigidly obsess with one outcome, the harder it is for us to let go. Right? The more we get anxious, the harder it is for us to live in the present moment and learn about ourselves. So it's very important. And by the way, at the end of this talk, I'll finish off with a 5-minute letting go meditation, a mantra meditation. It'll help us let go. So stay until the end so we can I can do this meditation with you and help you let go of whatever is holding you back. And it's also important for you to remember that when we are not present in the moment, and a big part of knowing how to let go is being very present in the moment. When you're in the future, when you're in the past, you're not really focused on letting go, on moving on. So being present is very, very important, because when we are not present, we tend to interpret things as bad, always, right? Because we're always associating whatever the present entails with negative past and negative future incidents. So it's very important to always be present in the moment. You think better, you think with more clarity, and that's why meditation is very, very important, because it helps bring you back to the present. So letting go. So letting go. Let me just quickly take another sip of my matcha, because I want to talk about something that was very interesting that I found. Let me just quickly catch up on some of your comments. So, Fatima says, detachment is really difficult, 100%. 100% very difficult. And it is something that it is a quality, a commodity that if we can acquire and if we can introduce into our lives, it can actually empower us to be better and stronger people. Charity is saying, I had a miscarriage in 2011 and I had nightmares the first year, but 12 years later, and I haven't dealt with it, that the nightmares are coming back. Yes, 100% Charity, and that's a problem that it's a habit that we tend to get caught up in as humans. Firstly, before I even proceed, I just want to say I'm so sorry that you had that in 2011. my heart goes to you, and I can imagine that would have been a very, very tough experience for you. So I'm sending you lots of love, and I hope you're okay. And I'm sorry you're still having those nightmares. As humans, our first go-to instinct is to distract ourselves, right? When we experience pain, and that's actually a good way for me to now move on to the next point. As humans, when things get tough, when things become uncomfortable for us, again, our natural instinct, the first thing that we want to do is go on our phones, play games, watch TV, drink alcohol, take drugs. These are things that as humans we gravitate towards when we're feeling uncomfortable. It's because we need the distraction. And it seems so counterintuitive to deal with it in the moment. But in fact, dealing with it, reflecting on what it is that we're going through, and understanding how to overcome it and deal with it, and becoming more just not comfortable, but becoming more just having it as part of your life, understanding that that's it, it's part of your future and your history, and it's time to move on now, is an important part of moving on and growth and letting go. So it's almost akin to, I remember I was saying it's counterintuitive to face a problem when it is presented to us. It's like in the buffaloes in the US, when there is a storm, there is a tornado. It's fascinating because they will never run away from it. They will run into the storm. And that's the smart thing to do, because they run into it, and then it's uncomfortable, it's tough, I'm sure it's painful for them in some ways, but then they cross through the storm, and then they're in safety, and the storm's passed, and the storm's not going to come back. Whereas intuitively, a lot of other animals will just keep running away from the storm, and the storm will keep catching onto them until eventually the storm hits them. And then, they just have to, it's just a longer process. So, tackling things head on, dealing with whatever it is that is holding us back, and evoking feelings of sadness and misery and discomfort. Change can be extremely uncomfortable. Unpredictable circumstances can oftentimes lead to us feeling incredibly disheartened and scared, right? Because we are afraid of what we don't know. When we're in a position where we're just experiencing something that we don't really understand. In your case, it was the miscarriage, which is again horrible, and in other cases it can be a loss of a job, which happened in a way to me a few months ago, or it could be the loss of a partner, or it could be the loss of something else. Those are experiences that are extremely frightening because we don't know how to proceed from that moment. We don't know what to do. There are very few things that humans are afraid of more than change, fear of the unknown. So if we can learn to embrace the unknown, embrace stepping into the unknown, and knowing, and I'm going to teach you how to do that in a few minutes, knowing how to take whatever it is that the unknown is presenting to us and deal with it so that it's no longer scary, which means that we're not afraid to take chances. And then that is, in my opinion, one of the most empowering things a human can embrace in life. Let's see. And Suzanne's saying, letting go is a slow process. Yes, it really is. And we can't rush these things. And we all deal with circumstances of change and of transition in different ways and at different paces. So, we're all different. There are 8 billion humans in this world, and we all deal with things differently. So, it's just important to not compare ourselves to other people and know that we deal with things in our own unique way. Dahlia's saying, nothing lasts forever. 100%. Nothing does last forever. And that is, as I was saying before, a law of the universe, the law of polarity. Everything eventually changes. Eventually, when you're experiencing the best times of your life, you have to understand and be mindful of the fact that the worst times of your life are not far off. You are going to experience the worst times. We cannot be disillusioned into thinking that every day of our life is going to be the best out of our life. And that's fine. Remember what we said before. Buddha said that it is it is pain is not the issue. It is suffering, right? Um, Pain is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. We have to accept that the inevitability of change. We have to accept the inevitability of the worst things in our lives coming and making us feel this pain. But we can choose whether we're going to let it affect us in a way that will entail suffering. It's our choice. And how we deal with it, well, that is what we're going to talk about. Let's keep going. Suzanne saying, some people will say you got to move on, but letting go needs to be done at one's own pace. Exactly what I just said before, 100%, Suzanne. At one's own pace. That's very important. Stephanie saying, that was me 4 years ago, moving to another place. Yeah, and again, moving places can be a very confronting and a very anxiety-inducing experience. And it's just very important to just learn how to deal with it. And look, I can give you all of the words in the world, but at the end of the day, it's important to put it into practice, to know how to deal with these things. Letting go makes room for receiving, Cheryl says. 100%. 100. When you let go, you're closing one door, but you're also opening a new door. And again, as I was saying before, society emphasizes so much how when we let go of something, when we lose something, right? Lose something. When we lose something, we've lost it. There's a lot of negative emphasis on that. But another way to look at it is, as Cheryl says, it's you're receiving something new. When the old cliche is when one door shuts, another one opens, and it's true. So I think that is a better mindset for us to look at things. We have to look at things from the perspective of, yes, we just lost something, and it hurts. It's painful. It's going to take a while to get over. But once we're over it, once we have dealt with the pain, we also have to be mindful of now the fact that there is a whole new path ahead of us. We should now find whatever it is that is coming our way exciting. We should be curious about what is coming our way. Alpha Dog is saying, yes, being willful or willing. Yes, exactly. Being willing to take on those challenges, without a doubt. So, as I was researching this, a very interesting theory. I came across a very interesting theory, and that is, let me just quickly sip on my latte. We are often told to think positive, right? Think positive, say positive words, but always think positive, because if you think positive, then you will feel better. Am I correct? That's what we're always being told by society. But that doesn't help someone who's experiencing depression or anxiety. If you're experiencing anxiety and someone says to you, all right, or you've moved on from something, someone's broken up with you or someone's passed away, you're experiencing grief, or you're experiencing, you lost a job, and that is either bringing you depression or anxiety, depending on your situation. It doesn't help when someone just says to you, think positive, right? That doesn't help. That doesn't do anything for you, right? So, and then a profound theory just came up. It is not our thoughts that cause or impact our emotions. It is the other way around. It is our emotions that impact our thoughts. Okay, that's a very important thing for you to remember, because that if we can now learn how to navigate our emotions in a more positive direction, that can in turn change our thoughts. And when our thoughts change, our actions change, our how we see ourselves change, our outlook on life changes. So for us to change our thoughts, we can't just change, because thoughts without emotions are meaningless. We need to change our emotions before we change our thoughts. With that said, how do we do that? Okay, so this is a process. Now we've understood why letting go is so important, right? But now how do we actually apply this into our everyday lives? So the first thing we need to do, the first step we need to take, is to identify the emotion. What is it that you are experiencing in this moment? What is it? Are you experiencing grief? Are you experiencing sadness? Are you experiencing anxiety? What is it that you're experiencing? Right? So you have to firstly, and we'll do this during our meditation, about 5 minutes. You have to firstly identify what is the emotion. Write it down, define it, and just have it there. So you know exactly where to go to next. The next step you need to do is, I need you to sit there and reflect on the emotion. Try to understand where the emotion has come from, how it's affecting your body right in this moment, how you feel, and you need to reflect on the emotion. Try to understand it a little bit better, okay? The last thing you do is go on your phone, scroll through Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, or call your friend or drink alcohol. Distractions are the last thing you need to do in that moment. You identify the emotion, you sit down, and you reflect on where it's coming from, where it is residing in your body, and then you got to ask yourself, can I allow this feeling? Can I allow this feeling? And then your emotional state changes just a little bit into a state of willingness, right? Because you become more willing to change. And then by tackling this, you're actually creating this mindset in your mind that you're actually willing to look into it a little bit more. That gives you this new sense of hope. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, can I allow this feeling? And then you just explore the feeling, explore how it feels. Then you ask yourself the next question. The second question is, could I let this go? Could I let this go? You answer that question. The third question is, would I let this go? Okay? Can I, could I, would I? Would I let this go? So then you answer those questions, and then you will realize that once you've actually experienced it, once you've actually meditated on the problem, and once you've, most importantly, identified the emotion that is holding you back, the emotion that is actually causing, and labeled it, then you can start shifting your paradigm. You can start navigating how you feel into another direction. These things don't happen overnight, as Suzanne said. It may take longer for some than others, and it also depends on what you're going through, right? Every circumstance varies. But as Suzanne just wrote, if we don't let go, we can't move forward. Well, that's exactly right. If we don't let go, we can't move forward. It's like a rubber band holding us back. We can't move forward if we're just holding on to the past, right? At one point, we just have to figure a way to detach from that, and then we can move forward. Okay? So the last thing you need to do is intellectualize your problems, okay? Or your negative emotions, because what that does is that creates a negative narrative in your head. It creates a story, basically. So you're creating this whole, if you intellectualize it, you're creating this whole story in your head. And the problem with that, the problem with stories, the problem with, intellectualizing experiences is that the story eventually becomes part of your identity, okay? And when that story becomes part of your identity, that makes it a lot harder to then change. So it's important to, once you're experiencing something, try not to intellectualize it, try not to, understand it and create a narrative behind it. Try not to do that. That's the worst thing you can do. You're not trying to, remember, the thoughts are not what is going to get you to the promised land. It is the emotions that you need to tackle first, okay? So you need to tackle how you feel first. Okay, so, and lastly, in Taoist teaching, if you actually read through the teachings of Taoism, you'll realize they embrace a lot of non-doing. Non-doing is a very big part of Taoism. And by that they mean if you're experiencing an emotion or a problem or something is holding you back, don't focus too much on getting rid of that. I'll repeat, don't focus too much on trying to get rid of that emotion. Don't focus too much on trying to get rid of anything or emphasizing it in your life, because it goes back to me now telling you not to think of a blue polar bear. And I bet now you've thought of a blue polar bear. So if you think about it too much, you're just re-inviting it back into your life, okay? So again, the problem has happened. Your concern is now not to deal with what the actual narrative is, it is to deal with the emotion within you. That's the most important thing you need to deal with, okay? And then when you do that, when you actually focus on the emotion, when those thoughts do resurface, and they will constantly, but you acknowledge them and go back to your body, go back to being kind to yourself. What that does is that actually disempowers this narrative that you have in your mind that change can be bad, or that there is no hope, or that you may not be able to deal with whatever is coming your way. So that's very important. So I hope if you have any questions, now is a great time to ask me, because we're going to, in about 30, 40 seconds, we're going to switch to a meditation. Okay, now if you've never meditated with me or in general, it's only 5 minutes, and it's definitely worth trying. Again, change is good. This meditation may expose you to a whole new world of possibilities. So give it a try if you've never meditated before. Most of you have meditated with me before, which is great. But if you're listening to this, then give it a try. I'll just sip on my matcha. If there are no questions, we'll begin the meditation. But I really do hope that this has opened your mind a little bit more to the value and the importance of changing and how to tackle this. So, okay. So for this meditation, I'm just going to move this a little bit. Okay. I'm going to ask from you to find yourself seated comfortably. Find yourself seated comfortably in a very comfortable position. And I'll hold it like this so that you can hear me properly. And just relax your body, okay? I'd like you to take a deep breath in through your nose, as deep as you possibly can. And slowly exhale. And just relax your muscles as you exhale, and gently close your eyes. When you're fully exhaled, I'd like you to identify any emotions you may be feeling in your body. Any feelings or any moments of tension. I just want you to identify where they are hiding. Notice how your body feels in general today. What is holding you back from pursuing a positive rest of the day or night? For now, just identify the emotion. Identify what it is. Great work. Now, I'd like you to label this emotion. Label how it makes you feel. And understand that everything in life is impermanent. This emotion has served its purpose, and you are now ready to let it go. Life's impermanence is what keeps us thriving and living a meaningful life.
So impermanence is not necessarily a bad thing. Impermanence is the fuel that drives us forward. We have to learn how to deal with it. So I want you to take a deep breath into wherever this emotion is lurking, and then breathe it out. Notice the emotion leave your body as you breathe out. And when you've exhaled, I want you to notice your breath. Pay attention to where your breath is felt most distinctly. And then go back to this emotion. Go back to your body. Feel and notice how your body is responding to this emotion. And I want you to again breathe into this emotion and hold, and then breathe it out. Let it go. Just relax your muscles as you exhale. When you're fully exhaled in your own time and at your own pace, I want you to notice your body and notice how your body is responding to breathing. The movements of your breath and how the movements of your breath impacts your body's movement. I want you to say to yourself, change is inevitable. Change is inevitable. And with each out-breath for the next 2 minutes, with each out-breath, I want you to say, change is inevitable. This will be your mantra for the next 1.5 to 2 minutes. You breathe in your emotion, and then you exhale it out and say to yourself, change is inevitable. Give you some time. Do so at your own pace. There is no rush. This is your journey, your path. So do so at your own time. Change is inevitable. And understanding the inevitability of impermanence and change is the next step to growth and embracing change, embracing new opportunities, new chapters, thus growing and evolving as a person, being present. Every moment you experience is both a death and birth, or birth and death. Every moment that you experience is now in the past. So you can only experience the present if you are to truly live a fulfilling and meaningful life. Enjoy every moment, for it is the birth of something new. And just let every moment go as well, for it is also the end of something. Now take a deep breath in through your nose, deep as you can. And slowly exhale. Relax your muscles, and when you're ready, gently open your eyes and welcome back your physical surroundings. I want to welcome you back and thank you for joining me on this session. I appreciate it. Hello, Janine. Yes, I'm glad it was very mind-opening. Suzanne, thank you. That's perfect. That's honestly what I'd like to hear. But thank you guys. Thank you so much for attending this and for listening and for entrusting me, most importantly, with your time. You are really appreciated, and I genuinely love you. And I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for this new show. Every new segment is an opportunity for me to just share my what I've learned, and so that we can together grow as a group. So thank you. Suzanne is saying, I do live in the present, but there are certain emotions that will always be here, tucked away. And look, that's fine, Suzanne. There's no, look, it's just it's part of human nature, right? We all do try our best to live in the present, and that's all that matters, as long as you're actually trying your best. But ultimately, we are human, right? Emotions are our most primitive form of expression, right? Our emotions developed before we developed our prefrontal cortex, which is in charge of logic and thoughts. Our prefrontal cortex which is part of our brain, which is our newest addition to our brain. But our emotions have always been there, and we can't mask those emotions. They're just a very embedded part of our lives. So that's perfectly fine, Suzanne, perfectly fine. Cheryl, I feel like, perfect. I'm so happy I found. Thanks, Janine. I appreciate you saying that. Thanks, Natalie. I appreciate that. Thank you again. This is so very helpful. Love it. Thanks, TM. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thanks, Dahlia. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm so glad that you enjoyed the mantra and the meditation. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Tomorrow, Ruth is saying, thanks for the positive pep talk, Alex. Definitely worth watching a second time to get full better. Thank you, 100%, Ruth. If you want to watch it a second time, it'll be up there. You can just replay it for sure. Sometimes it's good to listen to something a second time, even take notes that are relevant to you, and then just, apply it to your life. So thank you. I love you guys. I appreciate you. You're absolutely welcome, Kathy. You're absolutely welcome. I'll speak to you tomorrow if you want to. Tomorrow I'm exploring a new town, a new city in Australia called Castlemaine. We're heading to their botanical gardens, so we'll see what happens. And we're also going to explore a forest called the Oak Forest, which is quite beautiful. According to the internet, there is signal, but we'll see how we go. There'll definitely be signal in Castlemaine, which is where my friend Emma, who's currently in Norway, who's a tour guide in Norway, she's originally from Castlemaine. So we'll go check out Castlemaine, her hometown. We'll give her a little shout out. And botanical garden experiences are always a beautiful experience. Mindful, relaxing, and we're just gonna have a great time. Love you guys. I'll see you next week, which we'll talk about the positive self-talk and why it is so important. Take care, my friends. Love you guys. Thank you so much for saying that. See you guys. Bye.